Welcome to the Screen Time Continuum. It is a wonderful Wednesday, and we are here after that banging intro that we got every time for you. My name is Keelan, and I'm here with the fellas. What's going on, Nick? What's going on, Mike?
Hey,
What it do?
It does well, I believe. We're here to review a movie entitled Gray Matter.
Cause my
And
brain itch.
I guess, well, yeah, because brain is gray matter.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Accurate comment.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do the math. I'm not gonna lie to you, but yeah. Welcome, guys. The Screen Time Continuum is here. We're gonna review the movie Gray Matter. Gray Matter is a film that is currently showing on Max, or the HBO Max app that has changed to now just be called Max. It came out. Actually, I looked a few times. I was not able to find the exact day this came out or when this came out, but it is a 2023 movie. It is currently showing, as I said, on Max or HBO. It is directed by Miko Winbush. Sorry about that. On the producers list, we have Issa Rae, Dave Becky, Montrell McKay, Sarah Rastogoy, Rastogi? Yeah, Sarah Rastogi or Stogie, and Jonathan Barry.
And this
On
was this was released July 13th, so
July 13th. Thank
six
you.
days ago.
So,
I
yes.
want a cigar now.
So now that I realize it was 6 days ago, definitely want to give a spoiler alert after we've already let you know that Issa Rae, Dave Becky, Montrell McKay, and the people I named are producers. Haven't given you the cast, and I gave you PG-13. So this is now your spoiler warning because I just found out this movie came out on Monday. No, Friday. Sorry, this movie came out Friday. Either way, this is your spoiler warning. Turn back now. You've had plenty of time. I fumbled over the spoiler warning. I am now giving you more time by telling you it's a spoiler warning. Alert, alert. All right, that's over. Um, Thank you guys for hanging out if you're still here, or thank you for coming back after you went and watched the movie because you were interested and you saw the trailer already. But we are here to review the movie Gray Matter. It is starring Mia Isaac, Jessica Francis Dukes, Andrew Lanier, Isabella Ferrari? Ferreira? Isabella Ferreira. Oh. Garrett Dillon Hunt, and a couple of other people that you'll only see probably once through this entire movie. And that's not a shot at them. That's just the realistic part. The first five names are probably the people you're going to see the most. Actually, the first three names are the people you're going to see the most through this movie. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just the real cut of it. So Mia Isaac, Jessica Francis Duke, and Garrett Dillon Hunt are going to be your three main stars. And then you have about 14 other people that you'll see through the movie. And kudos to them for all appearing in this because I don't think, except for the character Derek, I don't think I've seen anyone in this in anything before. So I'm not really mad at this movie. I'll say that now before I even get into my first takes. And because of that, kudos to everybody who showed up in this. With that being said, this movie, Gray Matter, is about. I'm not going to give you my off the cuff. Google says Aurora has known all of her life from her mother that they have, the superhuman abilities they have also make them dangerous. However, on one fateful and fatal night, Aurora will discover if her mother was speaking the truth. Hey, I like that. How y'all feel about that?
Eh,
Well, as far as plots go on Google, I like it. But yeah.
Yeah,
eh.
I'm not a stinger person or like a copy person, so
Mhm.
it's
Fair
like,
enough.
yeah, it's fine. I guess it's
Yeah.
serviceable.
It's
It
not blowing
works.
my socks off.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing about any of this blows your socks. I know, some people might get their socks blown off by some of this, so I'm not going to go that far. But this movie, let's get some first impressions in, fellas. I'll say at the top, I enjoyed the concept of this movie. It felt kind of fresh, although it's not as fresh as you may think. The thumbnail made me think that this was like a religious movie because the guy definitely looks like a pastor in the thumbnail. But
Mm. I had a similar reaction, but not quite a pastor. It was on the other darker side of things.
like an evil priest.
Yes.
You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. Fetch that. What? That's all. That's what I expect him to be saying. Just something loud and violent. So yeah, thumbnail was intriguing. The trailer was kind of intriguing. The movie itself, I didn't hate it, but there were a couple of things that made me wonder: was that a spoof? Did you do that on purpose? You had to do that on purpose. You meant for that to be messed up. Um, but as far as other movies we've seen and how I feel about this, I like this. It If everything else is just a skeleton, some of the things we've been talking about recently, then this is not a decomposing body, but a body that is growing, and it was almost complete.
Hmm.
I'll leave that as my first take. I think if I say anything more, I'm just gonna I'm gonna start talking about the actual movie.
Right.
But yeah, definitely has some questions about some of the cinematic choices. But outside of that, I
Okay. Well, my first impression was get off my damn lawn. God dang teenagers.
You young whippersnapper, you.
Because the first thing I was like, okay, so this teenage girl is gonna do all the stuff she's not supposed to do.
Yeah.
She's gonna have all this here regret, and it's gonna irritate my soul because it's just commonsensical. If she would have just listened, she wouldn't be where she's gonna be. That was my first impression of it. And the main guy, dude, he was definitely giving me vibes from the I forgot the guy's name from The Last of Us, the priest, on the last 2 episodes. I forgot his name. I was definitely getting those kind of vibes off of him. You don't remember who I'm talking about?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
He was giving me Sinister Scientist vibes in the movie.
Cause like, well, we'll get into it, but he was definitely giving me hey little girl, would you like some candy?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking.
All right, well, yeah.
That's my first impression, though. Nick?
Yeah. Yeah, this movie's okay. It's not terrible in any regard. I think that it's probably just not as executed as it could have been. I think that there's a potential here for a much better, punchier film. And I feel like it didn't get there. Now, this is a Project Greenlight film, which means that this is like the little, I guess Max gives out money to people to make movies that are like independent. So this would be considered like a very independent film. Mm-hmm. So that, the smaller story probably makes sense within the budget that they were able to spend. Mm-hmm. I just feel like there were some mistakes here as far as the story is concerned. I found it kind of underwhelming in certain portions of the movie, and then it got a little bit more intriguing, and then the end fell completely flat for me. The ending almost felt like, all right, we got to wrap this up. We only got 2 minutes left. So let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Which, funny enough, is silly because right before the end of the movie, they set it up for a sequel. And I had thought to myself, oh, wow, they're being pretty ambitious by setting this movie up for a sequel. And then they wrap it up within like a minute, and then the movie's over. And I'm like, oh, well, you screwed your opportunity there. Cinematography wise, there's a little bit of overuse of shaky cam that I'm not a really big fan of. There's a lot of use of like heavy light color saturation that I don't like. But what's up?
Because I know how you specifically feel about shaky cam. You call that shaky cam? I call that. Oh, cool. Oh, perfect timing. 10:41. I call that baby back bullshit. that was like, oh, dang, we can't afford shaky cam.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Like a simulated shaky cam almost.
Oh,
Yeah.
that I was so irritated by that. Sorry, I just when
Yeah,
you
no,
said
it's
it, I
cool. I
was
get
like,
it.
I was gonna say it later. So thanks for
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, those are my first impressions. I don't think it's a terrible movie at all. The acting was a little bit weak, but the bones are there, like Keelan said. The bones of the story are there. It's just that I feel like you could have punched this up and it would have been like a good movie. Like kind of reminds me a bit of the Phoenix Force, but then they dropped that plot and then for some reason that's not an issue anymore. I think my only other critique I'll have is that there is no character development for anybody in this movie, and I think that that's a flaw. Especially if you're going to have the girl be the main character. This is one of those story arcs where she doesn't have to go through any adversity. She's just already awesome, just needs to believe in herself. I hate that. And it makes the character very unrelatable because nobody is awesome and perfect and just needs to be convinced that they're awesome and perfect. And, like people have to go through hardship in order to get better. And so when you have a character that's just all good no matter what, even when she murders somebody, she's still perfect. I don't know. I don't like that very much. So
they call her Mary Sue.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is a very much of a Mary Sue character in that she doesn't have any character development. And it's stupid because there's an opportunity to develop this character, which we'll talk about.
Right.
I feel like they tried to give us her development arc through those 2 or 3 training sessions with her mom. And
yes.
Right. And I feel like wait, you were done with your first impression.
Oh yeah, I know. Go
okay.
ahead.
Because I have a question about your first impression. And I feel like if that was what they were gonna do, then it should have been mandatory that when she ends up in any other situation, she has to go through a level of self-training before we get to a development. So I understand exactly what you're saying, but I do feel like they tried to use those and those were montages, whether you call it that or not.
Yeah, I'll do you one better. The facility that she goes to trains people like this.
No, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But they don't. I don't believe they really do that.
Though. Maybe they do though. He is a very powerful telepath. So, I mean,
he's had free range.
Well, that made me think of something, and I'm interested in what you guys think on that because because we kind of already said it. She kills somebody.
Okay.
But I said that. Sorry.
Right. Does she though? Because you see later on something very similar happen. Did she do it?
What you're saying? I see what you're saying.
And then on top of that, he's able to detect other people with psionic abilities.
That's what. I see what you're doing.
How? If he's able to detect them, and they've been doing all this training, at what point would he be able to detect her? And he just was observing.
When they
she didn't have a burst.
Yeah, when I get past that moment where she has the headache. But really quick, let's back up because that's past what I want to ask Nick.
Right.
Hey Nick.
Yes, sir.
Now you said that you also see the bones to this movie. Now, Mike, you might also, but this is just because Nick said the same thing in a different way. Now I believe, like I said, I don't believe this body is decomposing. I believe it's more like a Frankenstein type of a thing. We're just missing. They were missing 1 or 2 parts to get this thing up and going. Do you believe that it has some muscle on this skeleton? Do you believe the organs are developed, or are we still at bare skeleton? Where's your gauge?
Let me put it this way: I can make 2 fixes to this story that would probably bring it up 1 or 2 points on my rating. The 2 fixes are: she should have been trained by the bad guy in the facility on how to control her powers, and then
at least a little.
And then at the end, she should have went with the bad guy to train further so that this could be a trilogy. Because if she had went to go train with him as a way to learn how to defeat him, you could have another movie.
I thought the same.
And they didn't do that. They just decided, well, we'll get there.
So, and you know what? Just real quick. There's another movie I think you guys should check out. It's called Fast Color. Came out 2018. It's kind of similar, but the story's better.
Wait, no. This
No?
was your movie. Don't give us another suggestion while we're reviewing your movie.
Oh, it's like a side note, kind of like when we did the Evil Dead, and I had talked to Nick about it, and I told him check out the other ones.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
That's
It's a side note. Nah, it's not. It's not. Trying to make another
That's
suggestion
that's
for review.
extra credit. Extra
I
Right.
couldn't let you escape the moment when that came right. I was like, wait, no. You can't try to clean this up mid episode. You gotta live this.
Hey. We're doing current movies. That's a 2018 movie.
You know what?
Fair.
That's a fair point.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
there.
All right. So now that we've given a few pointers to the creators, and also, like I said, when I dug a little bit, and I didn't get to dig too deep into this movie, like Nick was able to find out where Nick knows more about the project, the production house, and who they come through. I didn't even know that they were an HBO company. Makes perfect sense when you realize Issa Rae is one of the main producers. And as I said from the beginning of her career, I'm pretty much support everything she do, even if I don't like it. And so far, I've never not liked something. This gets close. This gets pretty effing close. But with that, I forgot what my point was. I think my point was that I do like that we're able to support people who or at least myself in this particular moment. But I think in some of the other things we've watched, we're able to support people through these streaming mediums, even though sometimes we don't get the projects that we think we're going to get. But yeah, that's what I wanted to wrap up the first takes in the little banter of that with is at least we, at some level, we get to see some of the type of work by some of the type of creatives we want to. It's just sometimes it doesn't give us what we're expecting to get. With that, let's get into the beginnings, ends. We already got into some of the parts of this movie, but how does this thing flow? Where do we go? The notes on this, I really left out a lot of the detail because the details was, this is a movie where the details are less important than the turns and the twists.
Yeah, the plot beats really are the only thing that stand out in this movie because there isn't a whole lot of detail given. Even to the sort of lore, even to the title. Why is it called Gray Matter?
Because they're psionics, and that's the power of the brain.
Okay.
Telekinetics.
Yeah, we did the math for them. I know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's what you could say from that, but it's also like, all right, well, I mean, I guess I don't know. Gray Matter doesn't really. It's not really as punchy, and again, this movie should have been more. I don't know. It was a slow burn for a while. I would say it's just,
Were you gonna say more intelligent? It needs to have more substance.
I would say more action.
More action.
More action. Because I could have seen this as more of like a push type movie, where there is more psionic battling and stuff like that.
Yeah, Push sucked.
Yeah,
it did suck, but it had more action. So.
Okay. Just making sure we clear, like, we want it to be a different sucky movie?
That movie was amazing. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that this definitely could have had more action for sure. And I think that the end of the movie definitely emphasizes that they were not prepared to have actual psionic battles.
No.
That is a fact. But I think that goes back to what you said earlier about budget. That if it's one thing we know about Push, that was an expensive movie to make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what made it great, was the amount of money that went into the action scenes. And so I understand exactly what you're saying, Nick. But if I had to choose, I'll take this storyline. Give or take. I understand. The storyline wasn't terrible. Storyline wasn't terrible in Push, and it was probably a bigger budget. Anyway, I feel like now I'm either digging myself a hole or I'm just doing another movie injustice that I don't need to be doing.
Me and Mike are gonna change your mind at the end of this. You're gonna hate it like us.
I didn't.
We're gonna break you. No, I'm kidding.
I don't love it. I just don't.
No, I'm kidding. No,
I thought you were saying you're gonna change my mind towards Push. I'm like,
oh no, no need for that.
Like, I'm almost sure we all just agreed about Push a minute ago.
I found it entertaining. I don't know.
Okay. You could go watch Captain America.
Why?
Could do that, or not another teen movie.
Right.
Like,
I hated most of those.
really?
The spoof movies. Yeah.
That's terrible. So let's get to this movie because I feel like now I feel like we're doing this movie a disservice. It's not that bad. Um, so we begin seeing a scene where Isla is putting bombs on a building, and we realize that this is probably the most important scene in this entire movie. Isla's putting bombs on a building. We don't really know her name until this guy runs and starts yelling her name, Isla. And I'm reading it like, did he have to yell her name? Like, he's right there. There's nobody else there. But anyway, um, he's yelling her
It's
name.
also not how you pronounce that name.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not. I don't know if we wanted to go there.
They pronounce it like Isla. That's Isla.
Yeah. I don't understand.
It's silly.
Because I had so many thoughts on that. Like, what's the diction? How do you get that? And then I was like, is it because she's black?
No, I don't think so.
How dare you, sir?
Listen, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm simply saying my name is not phonetically correct.
That's true. That's true.
So that's what led me to the thought. Like, and then now I know that the producer. See, listen, I'm picking up context clues around here. This was Folk and them. Folk and them named the characters, and there you go. So anyway.
Right.
Sorry, I lost it for a minute. So Isla's putting bombs on the building, and this guy starts coming to her, trying to get her to stop. We don't really understand what's going on or why. Some police officers come, and they basically are telling her, "Let's go in," blah blah blah. Telling her to turn herself in. Stop what you're doing. Instead of doing that, what we see is a blackout, and we hear 2 gunshots. And we're like, what happened? And then you hear what happened, and then you hear another. Oh no, excuse me, you don't hear anything else. From there, we find out that Isla is a woman who has a daughter named Aurora. They're both psionics. Psionics are telekinetic peoples, and their existence pretty much is a secret. I'm not sure how much of a secret it is when there's a movie being made about it, but I guess we have to figure that out as time goes.
And you'd assume there's a government.
And I'm guessing that's why they're a secret, to hide from the government. That's what you were left to guess at the beginning of this. But I will say the placement of that first scene, and then you kind of pick up what that's really about. That was clever. I like the way they did that.
I got to push back against that, man. I knew exactly from the moment that scene happened that she didn't do anything wrong. She's misunderstood. It was the bad guy the entire time because they wouldn't allow her to kill anybody.
Yeah, I didn't know who the bad guy was. That was the one thing for sure. I also did not think she did it, but I was wondering what she did. Does that make sense?
Would have been a lot cooler if she did it. I had some conviction.
Had
a past that was worth keeping from her daughter. Otherwise, you knew it was the other guy.
Well, here's something for me, because I didn't really gather that so easily. Like at the beginning, from the beginning, I was really like, yo, is she like just a vigilante? Like, I mean, I was trying to figure out if she was a good guy or a bad guy. I didn't even think much.
She was a terrorizer.
I didn't know what she was. I was really trying to put it all together. Like, are we watching a movie about the bad guy for once? Like a real movie about the real bad guy? That'd be kind of cool. No.
Or just somebody who has a complicated past. She could have done bad things and then became a good person. This is what I'm talking about, the progression of the
character
hero. Character development. So they wouldn't allow her to be a bad person in the thing that they showed you at first. Then they had to say, psych, it was actually the villain the entire time, which I'm just like, of course it was, because you can't allow her to be bad at any point. She was just misunderstood. That's boring.
So did we
but that's what most movies are now. The bad guys that have all these.
That's
nuances.
what most. Okay, I'm gonna say it. That's what most characters are of a certain gender.
Sure.
Because dudes still go through the fall and the rise and all of that stuff in their movies.
This is true.
That's usually why they're about 2.5 hours. I want to ask this question. I'm sorry. I have to be this guy today. So does that mean we like the Jennifer Lopez movie Mother? She was a general bad guy that there was no recourse for her being a bad person. She was just trying to save her daughter.
No, but I mean, like, I don't necessarily need to like somebody, but it's glaringly obvious when you purposely won't allow your character to do anything ambiguous because you want to paint them positively. At least Jennifer Lopez's character was ambiguously morally ambiguous, which it would be congruent with somebody who does stuff like that. Somebody who puts a bomb against a building should be morally ambiguous, but she's only painted as the hero in the end.
Yeah, the whole concept of morals throughout this movie and everybody barking about how you have to have a high level of integrity and morals, and nobody showing that at any point in this movie is just beyond me.
Well, I mean, it's actually pretty pertinent because the only morals they talk about is utilitarianism, which states that the only good is the good for the most amount of people. So, yeah, both of them are utilitarian. She decides to bomb the place because it's the most amount of good for the most amount of people. He's deciding to keep the psionics suppressed because it's the most good for the most amount of people. So, I mean, both of them are following a utilitarian path.
Right. I understand. I don't think I understood that first, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, which is awful for both sides. You don't like utilitarianism is just a spiral that never ends.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yikes. There we go. So Aurora is being trained by her mom, Isla, with her psionic abilities. They go through different trainings at home. They don't train anywhere but home. But mom also uses the television as an early alert system. Huh? I don't know what that means. That's what she said. She was like, well, use it as an early alert
because I think she's like trying to keep an eye on whether the public starts to know about the psionics or not. Like, so if it's in the news that somebody...
news incidents.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I thought that and didn't write it down. I didn't think about that again. You're right. Yeah. That's what I came to the conclusion of too. Like it's if another psionic commits a murder or something and
then that's time to move. Yeah.
And ironically
it happens, but much closer to her than she knew.
It hadn't happened yet.
Yeah, that's true. It didn't happen yet.
Because apparently psionics exist in secret. Don't tell nobody.
It would have been kind of nice to know what Isla's background was. How did she find her powers? How did she know about them? How did she meet up with the villain?
How did they start?
Yeah, how is she a demolitions expert? How did they start? Why was she in cahoots with the evil guy? I mean, like apparently they worked together and were friends, so that he wasn't always terrible.
Right?
Were they a secret government organization?
That actually was kind of revealed, and so my theory is they were kind of like Magneto and Professor X.
I was wondering who was going to say it first.
Yeah. Essentially, that's what they were, right? At one point, they were working together, and they split because they had a difference of philosophy. Mm-hmm. And the real philosophy that they had a difference of is if a psionic does something wrong, we putting them down. Versus, oh no, it's just a psionic.
Don't worry about it.
We're going to take care of them. That was their difference of philosophy. And that is Magneto and Professor X.
Mm-hmm.
Professor X thought he could save everybody. And Magneto was like, survival of the fittest, fool. If you can't swim, you bound to drown.
Professor X was also willing to put some people into mental prisons if they were too dangerous. So
yeah, he did do that as well. So I guess they both kind of exude a little bit of both, huh?
Yeah, Magneto would never do that. He would never imprison another mutant. He wouldn't. He'd have let them kill all the humans if they wanted to.
Yeah, but the
moment I don't know if he go that far.
Isla is Magneto.
He would.
Isla's Magneto.
Absolutely, he would. But the moment they killed the psionic, he would kill him. Or excuse me, a mutant, he would kill him.
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course. But Isla is Magneto.
No, I agree with that from the beginning. That's how I thought about it from the beginning.
Yeah.
But it was the realization of the mental prisons with Professor X that I actually had forgotten about. I was mostly thinking of the whole school institution thing and just like, that can't be everything that you're saying it is. And that's essentially how he's running his situation. Like, that's not everything.
Didn't that seem almost like blatantly obvious as soon as he appeared on
Immediately.
Yeah.
Yes.
He didn't show up until she kept shouting in her brain.
You know why? Because the movie ignored letting the audience see some good sides of the Institute. Because that would have made it more convincing and more
I think it
intriguing
was
if
just a
we.
prison.
Well, I mean,
That's what I
it's
thought.
obvious. It's not just a prison; it's obviously a facility because there's staff members and everything. So they're doing experiments.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. It's a
So
lab.
it probably would have been better to have some psionics that were able to free roam in the facility because they got special privileges. Because he says I've got some kids that I think you should meet at some point.
And they
I
don't
thought that was a lie. Like
I
immediately
mean,
thought it was.
of course it's a lie, but I'm saying in order to make the story more interesting, it would have been nice to have a little bit of nuance between, okay, the Institute is a prison in the subterranean levels, but on the upper level, it can help, people with issues with their powers. And maybe the explanation is that he tried to help all those people and they couldn't be stopped and they couldn't be controlled. And so he had to put them
able to keep
into.
her longer. Yeah,
See,
he had to make them catatonic at that point. Yes, we're building.
Yes.
He's building on the story.
I'm just building a better,
I
just
know.
give it some color. Like this guy's just a mustache twirling white guy that's the villain. I mean, come on. Like, that's all he is.
Man, it's like doors for. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Again, this movie has plenty of color, but
It's just
I
like,
know.
You could have made it a little bit of nuance where it's like, oh, maybe Ro sees the benefit of, his structured way of training and uses that to get more powerful.
And she was almost willing.
She was almost willing.
And then
until the script said no. Even though the story was pointing towards yes.
Right there. Right there. And that, again, I think that gets back to budget, though, because it's like, oh, well, we got to stop here. And we don't know if they're going to cut it small, so let's go ahead and cut this thing off.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Rose sneaks out to go and see her boyfriend. Mama catches her and lets her know, hey, yo, we moving Friday anyway. So you can cop all the attitude you want to. We out of here. We out of here in 2 days, B. And during the training, the next day, her mom kind of get into it, and her mom lashes out at her, like, basically. I thought that was weird because
very weird.
If you're gonna go that far, you need to give this girl some information because you're trying to kill her.
Yes. And she has no idea why you're doing any of this because she doesn't know about the Institute.
Don't know nothing. You have to give her some level of information. Don't just tell her, "Oh, I'm doing this to keep you safe." Every parent says that, and then as soon as you turn on the TV, especially as a teenager, and she's watching sitcoms, she's definitely gonna see, like, come on, bro.
What was that about?
It's a very strange sitcom.
Right.
They really
and the acting was even worse.
And they filmed like a whole episode just to show it on the movie.
To keep going over and over and over and over it. Honestly, what I think even that show was curated by her mom. I don't think it was real.
Maybe it seemed like a Disney Channel spoof. Like they were trying to make fun of like those Disney Channel shows.
Disney Channel, a little bit of a different world mixed in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because mom's older, so she got it.
I was kind of confused. Like, were they supposed to be like an adult couple or a teenage couple? And then at the end, the parents walked in, and it was like
brother and sister,
siblings. They're like a different world type of thing. Like they were adopted, and they were at home alone, waiting for their parents.
There's a lot of stories that start off that way.
I heard it too, Nick. I heard it too. I'm just letting it go.
Man, where's the music when you need it?
I know. It's like the jingle should pop up.
I legit was sitting here like, nah, we're not gonna comment on.
Yeah.
But it was a silly show, but it served its purpose. Let's just say that it served its purpose. I guess a moment to be creative inside of creative. Maybe that's another show that's being developed, and that's how they wanted to sneak peek it to those who are in the know. Who knows?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
But after Aurora sneaks out, she goes she gets caught by her mom. But then the next night, after her and her mom have this makeup session, she goes out still anyway and meets up with her friend at the old school with his other friends, and they're getting high and drinking liquor.
Delinquents.
Super delinquents.
Mhm.
They're not even like the kind of delinquents who is like, oh, we're gonna make it look like we do normal stuff, like go to the football game and then we're gonna smoke a joint on the way home. No,
we're gonna hang out in an abandoned pool and drink beers
Right.
and smoke. Yeah.
And smoke with
Man,
cigarettes.
smoke
Yeah.
with cigarettes.
And do hood rat things.
You want a drink? It's just Coke. I swear. In a bag rolled up. And
Yeah.
what teenagers know how to roll their bag like a 1990s wino?
And I'm pretty sure that wasn't Coke.
Oh, that was definitely not Coke. That's why when they swigged it, they had that little giggle. And I think that's why she ended up losing control.
Maybe.
Her first little swig of liquor.
He was a weirdo, man. I didn't like the way he was acting. He kept
didn't like
just
the
being
kid.
all smiley and shit. I'm like, dude,
You know what I honestly was thinking?
straighten up, young man. Jesus. Good
No.
Lord.
What I was legit thinking was that the boy and his friends were really adults posing as kids, and that
They were
part of the
undercover. They were
scene
part
trying
of,
to find her.
yes.
That's what I really was thinking at
I
first.
kind of thought that too. I thought like one of the friends was going to be like, because they kept asking like, oh, well, you live over there? We didn't know anybody lived over there.
Homeless
I thought
people
one of,
live
yeah.
there.
I thought one of the friends was going to become an agent or something.
I thought it was gonna be the weird black kid
Why?
because he was acting.
He's just hanging out.
Well, he was the specific one, like, oh, she's blowing my high, like just being
Yeah, yeah.
super. Like, come on, bro.
Extra.
Where
You could tell 30-year-olds
every
wrote
kid
the
wearing a yellow
dialogue.
shirt.
You could
Yeah,
tell
for sure.
30-year-olds wrote the dialogue for
For
15-year-olds,
sure,
16-year-olds.
we wrote this dialogue. Well,
Yeah.
no question that was us.
You're harshing my
But-
mellow, man.
Vanilla.
Said the 16-year-old.
Bro. Well, nowadays they do say bro, but whatever.
To everybody and everything for no
Yeah.
reason.
That's
man,
true.
God, don't get me started. Because
Right.
I ain't your bro.
I ain't your buddy guy.
I'm not your guy, buddy. Okay, we're gonna stop there because I don't know where the line is.
Right.
So when she would see her friend, and she accidentally, basically, what do you guys think that was? Like an aneurysm that traveled into the carotid artery?
Exploded his artery.
For sure, exploded his artery. Like
Right.
Yeah, just
whole chihuahua bite out the side of the neck.
And that
Yeah, just
that brings me
burst
to my
that
question
vein.
previous though.
What was that?
Did she do it?
because that was the move of the bad guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
You're
That's
right.
why I was asking earlier. Did she do it though? Because he's able to detect other people's abilities. They don't get into details on how he does that.
You're right.
Well, we assume with the gigantic burst afterwards is when he,
When
but
she
then she
screamed out.
teleports, and we don't know where she teleports. So he might have teleported her.
I think
That's
yeah.
what I'm
I think
saying.
that
We
was
don't
him
really know.
teleporting.
None of that's clear.
But the thing is, though, is like you would have to assume that he would have picked up on her psionic abilities elsewhere, training
She
with
was
her
practicing
mom.
with right. That's what I'm
Practicing with
saying.
her moms.
But I
Well,
thought her
maybe moms
mom
knew
was
how to
sort of
shield it.
blocking the
Blocking the signal.
blocking the signal and also not letting her get to the point where she's actually expelling enough energy for him to detect.
Right.
Although it
that's
could have
why
been
he's-
her because she was the one that freaks out on her before she goes out that day or
True.
that night.
True.
She's the one that throws her down to the ground and releases a
Starts
lot of energy.
Squishing her like a bug.
Right.
Right.
So maybe it was the
Crush her like a
mom.
jelly bean.
Yeah, maybe it was the mom that outed them.
Tipped him off. Or tipped him off,
Mhm.
and now he just knew what area to look in.
And so he maybe
Yeah.
just was happened to be monitoring the situation. Was like, let me and give her some guilt real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's genuinely surprised when he sees it's a Isla.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
He knew-
I don't think he abducted her.
Now he was not
Well, we don't
intentionally
know.
taking Isla's daughter. No.
We
Yeah.
don't know that because
I-
there's a flash and then she just disappears.
I
Right, but when
believe-
he's in the memory with her, he's surprised to see that it's Isla
yeah.
in the memory. So I mean, like he doesn't know that that's the daughter.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But
So maybe he was just hunting a psionic and then realized that it was the daughter of this other psionic that he knew.
right.
Something else don't make sense.
Maybe.
Oh wait, no, I guess it does. They said
What?
he's been doing it. Derek has been running the facility for 20 years for the government. However, Aurora's only 16, and Isla said that she was a baby when she tried to blow up the building, et cetera, et cetera.
She wasn't a baby. That's just the plot telling you that you
But
don't need to feel bad for her doing something terrible because she's just awesome. That's it.
right, well, what I figure is she could have been a baby if because he didn't say they started it together. He tried to hire her. He tried to bring her in with him. So he had already been
Yeah.
doing it for 4 years before they met. And he met her as a criminal, but he wanted to keep her. He was, oh my God.
He actually did, but they were on the same team together. That's because she chastises him for becoming their errand boy, which is what she
Right.
says. You became their errand boy. So they worked together. So
Right.
it stands to reason that she was working with the Institute for like 5 years, maybe 4 years, some period of time, you know?
Yeah,
And he
yeah, no,
crossed
she
over.
definitely did. Yeah. She was working with him for a while as well. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think that there's yes, the similarities are striking, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there wasn't enough explanation as to the dynamic. Why is the bad guy so bad? Like, because that's my question. If we're gonna go there, if all of those psionic people are crazies and violent and have killed people,
Well, apparently
is
all of them aren't.
how do you know? He says that
Because
They
they
he
don't.
are.
They
said,
don't really.
no, he does. He says that they exist. So in his mind, because you are a psionic, you are dangerous. Literally his words.
Right.
See,
But that doesn't
but
mean they
they
actually did
backtrack
anything.
that. They backtrack that because that was the full heel turn point. But it again, the story would have been much better if they were real about the fact that psionics can be dangerous, as
Well,
the
that was
little
what he
girl
was trying to prove.
shows.
Yeah, well,
The movie proves it.
yeah, the movie proves it. That's the whole thing. It's like, can they be dangerous? Yes, but should they be able to live in the world with everybody else? Yes, but he doesn't believe they should. So he has this facility. I mean, hell, look at how it ends. Well, before we're almost at the
I
end.
know.
Well, because I have a whole thing about the way the ending. Like, hold on, like, no, all right. So yeah, she ends up teleporting, wakes up in the locked room. She meets Derek. And Derek at first tries to play the nice guy, oh, we're gonna get you a room in the facility, we're gonna help you, we're gonna make you faster, better, stronger, quiet you. Because I know what I said, I'm sorry.
Right.
Uh, and then
Pump
he,
you up, Cal.
he keeps trying to get inside of her brain, and he keeps complimenting her how strong she is and keeping him out of her head. And we find out that's a lie. He's been in there the whole time. He just ain't getting all the information he wants.
Man, was that not creepy though? The way he was like talking
Yeah.
to her.
It's supposed to
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
And
But
that's
it's not
why I
supposed
said
to be
I
that
got.
type of creepy.
Yeah, that's why I got Catholic priest vibes from him.
Well, they might as
Wow.
well. He's white, and maybe I just tack on that other thing, right? Not
Well,
only is he a jailing innocent people murderer, he can also be a an offender.
that's crazy.
May as well just throw it on there. He's got the glasses
You
too.
didn't get those
might as
vibes from him though.
Why?
Keith?
Why not? Why not?
You didn't get those vibes from him.
Who?
You.
Shit, I didn't say that.
That's what I'm asking because you.
I've been agreeing with you the whole time. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
Oh, because I'm not over here overtly like, hell yeah. Yeah, that's what. Boy, I tell you, I was thinking the same thing.
No, I was just making sure because it seemed like I wasn't sure. Let's just go like that.
Oh yeah, no, I know my jokes
Gotcha.
aren't made for TV. They cross lines. This ain't TV. Who gonna fire us?
Isn't it though?
Yeah, I guess 2023 TV.
We are the cable, the access cable channel.
Hey,
Definitely
we are
cable
the
access.
gatekeepers. So yeah, we basically find out that Derek can't really get in her head as deep as he wants to. So he's taunting her, he's tricking her,
Probing,
probing.
grooming.
What we find out
No.
is when
No.
he doesn't get quiet. when he's not able to get what we find out is when he's not able to get the information, he starts to give her information like about her mother, telling her her
Mhm.
mother is a murderer and all of these types of things.
Right. Why would he
And
even do that?
because it's supposed to make her turn against her mom.
That guy is evil.
That's what I'm saying. It was like
Twist the mustache, twirl. You know, like just because he did it the entire time for no reason either. Why did he kill those people? To show that these people are dangerous. What?
Yeah. Because
Had you already been
dangerous
shown?
psionics?
I mean, like the idea, he admits in the movie that the Institute started to help people like that. And then they realized that most of them were beyond help and could not be helped and were too dangerous.
Mhm.
Think of like Heroes. Heroes, the
What-
company is the exact same way. They started off as trying to help people with abilities, and then they realized that these people are too dangerous.
Well, I think when they say they're too dangerous, what they mean is they can't be controlled.
What they
Because
mean
they're
is
not
that
necessarily dangerous. They just can't be controlled by you to do what you want.
No,
Right.
not necessarily though. They're dangerous to the public as well, because the girl was getting a headache and then, splitting somebody's artery potentially. You know what I mean?
My theory
Like-
was that she did that because she lost control while she was inside of his head.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
That is dangerous, but she shouldn't be inside.
An
of his head.
innocent person died.
Yep, which is
I mean,
what her mom was talking about. Yeah, you're right.
So what are we talking about here? Are we talking? And then we'll get to the end too, because that's an even worse.
Oh, we're not. I don't
idea.
think we're saying they're not dangerous. I think we're saying they
Right.
don't deserve to be in prison for existing.
We don't know that. We don't know. Again, that
I
line.
take offense.
That line. No. Hold on. That line. Well, I don't also like this analog between psionics are black people, and then this white guy is holding them as captives.
There were
Like,
white
come on.
psionics. Hold on. The majority of the psionics that he had in the basement were
No,
white.
I know, but he's like the
But I get
dynamic
what you're saying.
between
That
the
what
characters.
we're viewing,
Yeah.
what we see, the people we see running around.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
No, God.
Damn, I don't want to do this no more.
I know, me neither, man.
I want to go home.
It's too much. It's too
I
much.
hate it here.
There's some connotations I wasn't paying attention to, and then that's messed up.
No, I think the whole "they exist" thing was attacked online to really cement the heel turn, but they didn't give you enough of the
context,
subtlety. They didn't give you enough of the subtlety of the villain to actually have the heel turn make an impact. So when he said that, it just felt out of place. It was like, okay, well, all right. I guess now you're fully committed to imprisoning all of them, even though you wanted to help Isla and you wanted to help the daughter. And then only didn't do that when they proved that they were being difficult and weren't, working with you. You know what I mean?
Allegory for black people in the government?
Yes, man. That's what I'm saying.
Holy shit.
And then what happens at the end of the movie?
That's the best part.
Open door. Ah!
Defund the
Oh,
police, bruh.
No, not that part. Not that part.
No.
Yes. Totally.
All of those open doors.
Yeah.
Because the white man was blinked out of
solitary cells.
existence.
Yes.
No,
Now the
locked
people
doors.
can be free. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Us free.
So this movie is no longer called Gray Matter. It is the USS Amistad 2000.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, this movie
Yeah.
could definitely be flipped that way.
Yeah. No,
1,000%.
they did that on purpose, obviously.
I'm sure they did.
Mhm.
Listen, even the things that I truly believe, even the things that we drag and talk about as if they just came out of nowhere. I don't think we really believe any of it came out of nowhere because somebody you sit in rooms for months, sometimes
Yeah.
years. Hopefully not for half the shit we've been watching lately, but that is how long it takes to put together a movie long before you start casting and getting budget and all that other shit together.
Mhm.
So I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of this shit is accidental, but I totally missed that. Like, I might have to turn in my black card for a week because I missed it.
Jeez. No, you don't.
I try not to see things through that lens all the time. Just
I understand
all
you're
the
right,
time.
but
You don't need to.
It was like, as Nick pointed out, it was pretty overt. After he said that, and I really stopped and I went from top to bottom of this movie and then caught up to where we were.
See,
wow, the fact that it didn't cross my mind once actually makes me feel kind of bad.
My normal go-to is that. So I'm just, so I'm trying to get out of that victim mentality. Like everything is geared towards that.
I think it is, but the problem is that it's being repackaged now as Triumph pieces, but they still have the same effect as they did when it was things like Amistad.
Hey man, the only time I triumph is when I bomb atomically. Don't finish that.
Hey. They calling you Oppenheimer.
Hey man, they don't know nothing. But so stop, bro. I'm trying to go back to where we are in the movie.
I couldn't help it.
So yeah, she gets to the facility, she meets this dude, he's an ass. And he's a bad person and he's really not trying to hide it, but she's a child. So because of that, he's able to really package his true intentions in different ways by making her think, hey, we have this wonderful room for you. We're going to house you and make you bigger, better, faster, stronger, teach you all the things you need to know so you can go out there in the world and be a productive member of society. The problem with that is once he finds out who her mother is, things are going downhill because now he's not only going to tell you who your mother is, going to tell you all the things about her being a criminal, is going to tell you all the, going to continue to utilize what he has told you or her actions against you, simultaneously trying to use that your memories to find her. Eventually, Aurora gets to a point where I don't know if her mom actually presented herself to her, which I think that's exactly what actually happened. But if that's not what happened, I think what happened is Aurora had a I can't think of what it's called, but it's like almost like an epiphany, right? Yeah. Where she has this surreal moment of realizing, like a come to your savior type of a moment where she's enlightened and she knows it's time to just give it up, tell them what they need to know so that they can go to mom. Which we also end up finding out later was exactly what Isla wanted her to do, right? Like she wanted her to eventually give it up so that her and she knew who was going to be coming for her, Derek, could sit and have them a little powwow because she had a plan.
How'd she find the facility?
I think that's around the time she found the facility. That's why I was thinking that's when she actually possibly had actually presented herself, because that's when around the time she knew the facility was there, and that wasn't the first time she had done it. Excuse me. That was the first time. That wasn't the only time she had done it. As soon as that happened, when she goes back to the room and she goes back into that catatonic state again, and she drops the glass and she realizes it isn't real, I think that's when she's able to kind of broadcast, if that makes sense.
I was thinking somewhere along the lines that maybe the mom realized she had been abducted and wasn't responding to her when she initially got captured, because she probably was just trying to pinpoint where she was. That's my initial thoughts.
No, I think we might both be wrong. Something just clicked. She used to work there. What are we talking about?
Well, we don't know it's the same facility.
Right.
We have no recollection.
They kind of, in my opinion, make it seem as if it's the exact same facility because he has his ass so high on his shoulders. He don't think he's touching.
Well, what I mean is she doesn't necessarily know that he has her. She just doesn't know where her daughter is. But because she's so cautious, she didn't respond to her until she understood where she was, is what I'm saying.
That's fair.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's fair. Because there is nothing to prove that she knew for sure Derek had her until she was there and talking to Derek.
That's her projection was there.
Good point. Who knew she was so good at astral projection? She did.
She's not bad at anything.
No. I think the only thing she's bad at is
isn't it wonderful?
Parenting.
I love that. Parenting. No, because she raised an incredible daughter. You can't even say that.
Right. You're right.
I'm stunning and brave.
And you know what? I'll say this. The only thing that made me think she was a bad parent, or made me try to go off the tangent of her being a bad parent, is your kid didn't know what she was being protected from. That's dangerous.
That yeah.
Extremely dangerous.
But
Who was her
ultimately, it was
daddy?
for her good. Oh,
Who
what
cares?
the?
Was that
Don't
the-
worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Well,
That
Don't worry
matter.
about it, Mike.
That's her baby.
Yeah. Stop. You act like that's necessary.
Well-
And ironically, I think it might have been somewhat because of her dad's a human.
well, she's not human.
If her dad's not a psionic, thanks for correcting me.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
All right.
But I would assume her father's a psionic, and thus
I thought maybe it was that guy in the beginning. That's what I thought.
there's a guy in the beginning
The
The
guy
one
that
with
gets
the cops?
necked.
When
Oh,
she's
that
about to blow up the building.
got
Yeah.
nicked.
Mhm.
Yeah. The one who got his artery exploded. It.
She could be a little mixed child. You're right.
Maybe.
Fair point.
I mean,
We'll
that
never
seems
know.
the recurring love themes.
Oh God, we're not doing this with you tonight.
Hey man, all right. I'm sorry.
You
Shut
climb
it
back up
down.
the ladder and get out of that rabbit hole. You
Told you, I'll be
wascally
trying not to see it.
you wascally wabbit. Anyway, yeah. So after they get down that road, Aurora does end up getting found by her mother and rescued by her mother. But at that exact point is when Derek finds out what's going on because, in her excitement, what Isla's not able to do is have a discussion waking up her daughter and continue the discussion she's having with Derek. She has to have them both at the same time, in which case her connection is breaking because she's more focused on waking her daughter up. At that note, that's when she realizes what she's doing and she goes, oh yeah. Clicks out of that whole situation with Derek, lets him know, like, yeah, no, I got you. It was nice knowing you. Tries to blow him up, but he's perfect, so he projected. I mean, teleported out of there. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
don't
thought
worry
that was a
about
pretty
that.
good little scheme, though. That she
Oh yeah,
came
it's a
up
good
with for
it's a
that.
good gambit for sure, but don't worry about
Yeah.
that. He managed to escape that. Don't worry, there's going to be another opportunity for him to bite it, and he does in perfect fashion.
It's going to be a couple of other opportunities for him to bite it, but he's only going to take one, and it's the least likely, if we're being honest.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, sorry, excuse me, got to sneeze.
Gesundheit.
I did find it kind of interesting that she able to make bombs and explode stuff, but she ain't got not one pistol to shoot nobody.
I think
You don't
guns
need
are
to
too
when you can go
dangerous
like
for
this.
psionics. Yeah,
I mean, I
think
get that, but
bombs. Well, here's the deal. I understand bombs. With psionics, they can just move the damn bullets because they can they can move shit with their brain.
You can just
Not-
carry bullets on you.
wait, whoa. That's
right?
not that
They
movie.
are the gun, essentially.
It's not that movie though.
You could have
You're
done a
right.
Magneto and just had some coins.
You're right.
But this ain't that movie because she could barely lift a box full of books.
At first,
The mom.
Well, with the moms, we don't.
we saw the mom move one of those underground water pipes in the first scene. What are you talking about?
You mean that
Yeah.
PVC?
No, that was concrete, sir.
Nah, no.
We saw the mom slam her daughter into the ground and almost squish her to death.
That's true. Too.
Right,
She's
but
got
that does.
some
But we're
power.
talking
Pretty
about
sure
a
that takes
bullet.
less
That's a
strength than
different
that-
kind of
that
monster,
big
though.
thing.
But my point is still this: even with that being the case, she's using bombs.
Yeah, but you can't. How do you
A,
control
a
that? with
gun is a
somebody?
lot easier to manage.
Right. But what I'm saying is, if you cannot teleport, how do you control a bomb with psionic abilities? And the only way you're controlling that with teleportation is you have to touch it. And then you have to be invulnerable.
I guess the bomb is probably for the maximum amount of damage. If you pulled the gun on the dude, he might be able to
Use
grab
against
it with his mind or something. I don't know.
I'm just thinking in this situation, the bombs for against psionics and with psionics using them as weapons might be one of the most well thought out parts of this.
Or maybe,
Well, it didn't work.
maybe it
though.
was for other subtler woke
You
reasons.
know what? I'm sorry, Nick. You're right. Huh? What'd you say, Mike? Damn, you're right. It didn't work. So I guess
It didn't work though. So yeah, I guess because
even when she left one right by his thigh, he didn't blow up.
No, he didn't blow up, and he managed to teleport back to the compound where they did a red alert, you guys, because you know what happens when there's an emergency in a building. You know the best thing to do: turn
What?
all the right lights red and make them flicker on and off so that you can't see anything. That's a good thing to
'cause
do.
You
when
don't need
there's
to
a-
escape.
You don't need to see a threat.
How
don't
would
need
you
to see a
find the
threat.
how would you find the threat, Mike? What do you mean escape? Stop it.
It's
Well,
so stupid. I was
So
looking at the like this is the least secure thing you can do. Like if people are hunting for somebody and now the lights are just flickering on and off.
Well, apparently their red alert locks down the building. It doesn't, make
well,
access.
just some of it.
Some of the building, yes.
Fair point.
Just
There was
some
a
of it.
red alert on basement number 2.
And if he had the technology to dampen the or create a Faraday cage for psionics to keep their brain intact, why wouldn't he create a Faraday cage that doesn't allow you to teleport outside of the building?
How about why doesn't he have something that I don't know how to say what you just said, but I understand what it is.
Faraday cage.
Yeah, that you thought I was about to try anyway. I wasn't. But thank you for saying it for me. To dampen Psionic's powers. Like, how is he, as one person, so strong he can keep that entire building on lockdown, keep everybody in the catatonic state?
He's imprisoned all of them in their minds. So he's clearly the most powerful.
Right. And he clearly is not in this situation.
He's obviously not because reasons, but
and if he were, he definitely wouldn't be as afraid of Isla as he is.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense, man. If you have, I mean, he's probably got at least a dozen psionics. Probably.
I was thinking more than that because of the way it made it seem.
30, 40.
Yeah, maybe he does. First of all, why aren't you just murdering these people? Why are you keeping them alive? If they're that much of a risk, why would you keep them alive? That makes no sense. So again, another hint at there might have been nuance. There might have been nuance to this guy and his argument if the movie allowed it for it to take place. But he kept 40 people alive, so he didn't want to kill them. He just didn't want them to be a threat.
Oh, maybe that's how he's so strong, because he has all of their brains there. He can utilize that somehow. Not sure how.
Tap in
we'll find that out in the sequel.
Xavier. He is Professor X.
Yeah. Oh, that's what powers his cerebro.
Mm-hmm. There you go. That's how he's able to find them.
Mike, stop. You know it's going to be a sequel. Let us do our work. We trying to get called up to the writer's room as you.
No. There was going to be a sequel until they ruined it.
No. There's going to be a sequel, but it's not going to be the sequel that we saw. It's going to be the sequel that they saw.
Go on and email Issa. Tell her go on and hire us.
Oh, right. That's true. That's true. Yes, everybody's free now. So they're going to get free, and they're going to create. Oh, they're going to go to Portland and create their psionic utopia.
I don't love Portland.
Everybody is nice. There are no laws.
It's going to be in Canada. It's going to be in Canada because she said she's not going to Oregon.
Oh, so yeah, because she made all the rules now.
Yeah, we got to go where it's a little bit colder and you have more places to go, like more free reign.
Why would you want to go to Maine?
Maine is beautiful.
That's where Pennywise is.
That's true. That's where all Stephen King books are. But Maine is very pretty.
Pennywise don't have a problem with these folk. Pennywise gonna stay right where he at.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying.
So the guy dies. I mean, after they escape because of the teleporting. She can now teleport because she did it once, proving that it wasn't him that teleported her there. Yeah, it was her.
She did her own self. That's what I thought at the end, or that's what I was thinking. But I still think he had something to do with triggering it, but I don't know how. Because how did she end up there specifically?
Good question.
Plot reasons.
Plot.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Or my good old favorite reason.
Plot.
The other one.
Rabies.
My bad. I forgot about that one. Right. This one is psionic rabies.
Yes.
Why not?
Exactly. Yeah. Psionic madness. So she's able to teleport, and then they make their escape, which is cool because I guess they teleport to Missouri, so there is no distance restrictions to her teleportation.
And that was impressive.
Yeah. And then so they're on the run, and they're saying that they might go to Portland, Oregon, because it's a really nice city, and we know some people there. Yeah.
Okay. It was.
Well, it's a nice city for some people still who think that that's the ideal place to live. But yeah. But the daughter says, no, I'm tired of running. I'm not going to be led by the nose by my mother anymore. So I'm going to usurp her in her throne of supremacy, and I'm going to claim myself the sovereign
And go head
and
up against the big bad.
and go head up against the big bad with approximately 4 minutes left in the movie to spare. So we got to do this real quick, you guys.
And
I mean,
wait.
we don't have time for the pomp and circumstance here. We just need to make this happen right now.
Right, because remember, I'm not quite as strong as any of them, but
Nowhere near
I have
as strong
willpower.
as the guy that has had an institute full of them, who he managed to. I mean, you have to think that he himself physically managed to restrain those people and put them into the catatonic state. That is a powerful dude.
Yeah,
but no match against a 16-year-old girl, of course.
Hey, right.
the wily mind of a teenager.
Yeah, they're really good. And so this is where the movie shits the bed for me, is that there's a moment where they try to be cute and Ro pretends like she's interested in taking him on the offer of having her trained at the Institute. And I'm thinking in my head, did you just set up a sequel? Because that's pretty ballsy. And I respect the gusto on that.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not what happens. She decides, I'm not gonna. I mean,
What
that would have been
happens is
such a
even
better
better.
movie.
But I think the problem there is that was a TV moment.
What happens next is even better.
So she's always had the power within her. She's never had to work it in order to fulfill it. She just needed to believe in herself, and she literally says it before she does this. I need to believe in my power. I need to trust my power.
Well, because her mom kept telling her to believe.
That's the mantra. That's the mantra. You never had to work for this. You're always great. You just need to believe in yourself.
Oh, she was listening to that Eniko. Got you.
It's just that same bullshit. Like, she didn't have to learn anything. She didn't have to go through any struggles. She just was awesome, and she had to believe in herself. So she does, and then she teleports the dude right in front of a moving truck. Now
just out of curiosity, is her last name Palpatine?
Maybe. Hey, there's a crossover. I'd be willing to watch. I would be willing to watch that crossover.
Or maybe it was Marvel.
Yeah, one or the other. I don't know.
We'll stick to Palpatine actually at the moment. I don't.
So she murders the villain. Quite legitimately murders the villain. You know what's funny is that the villain, she's only 3 kills below the villain at this point. Two kills shy of the villain. 2 kills.
That we know of. Here's a question really quick.
Well,
what was going on with Derek's watch and tie? Because he kept looking at his watch, so that was very significant. And I don't want to hear no, he's just a timely dude. Nah, it looked like he worked at a TVA to me. And that definitely was a TVA tie. So
I mean, like, again, if they actually wanted to make a more expansive thing, they could have had him being able to manipulate time itself. Maybe he was practicing with stopping time,
or at least
that could have actually led into the sequel. If he had actually been practicing stopping time, he could have stopped time right at the moment he was about to hit that truck and then teleported away.
Well, because you technically don't see a body or any spray.
No, you see a spray. She gets a little bit on her face.
Did she?
I think so.
I think you're thinking about it in the beginning. With the first death.
I don't know.
I didn't notice any spray, so you might be right.
They get all the way back to the street, to the sidewalk too.
Right. So I mean, I didn't see any spray. I didn't see a body underneath the truck because I was looking.
I mean, I figure if she could blink away that fast, why couldn't he?
Right.
Just saying.
That's all I'm saying. So I mean, but like you alluded to, he could possibly be manipulating the perception of time. Maybe not time itself, but the way we perceive it. So in those moments, yeah, he could like, kind of like in a few other shows we've seen, movies and stuff, where they can't really alter time, but they can alter the perception of it. So it's like time stops and you're in these frozen moments where you can think in real time. But
yeah, like in X2 in the museum, when Professor X rolls into the museum and everything in the museum freezes, but the outside world doesn't freeze.
Right.
Yeah.
Dang. That's the
We
moment.
have a comment here from OneBridge11. He says, "Who are you people, and why did YouTube recommend you to me?" That's a really good question. I don't know.
That's an awesome question.
we're just a few guys that like to talk about movies and TV shows. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you watch a lot of reviews. Maybe that's it.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, by all means, check ours out. Tell us what you think.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really understand why the villain had to be so easily defeated. I guess I do. I mean, because there was only 3 or 4 minutes left in the movie. So
Down with the P word.
There's so many of that P words though. Platypus.
I
know what you mean. I know.
I'm about to be like, I'm gonna let y'all do that. I'm over here reading my notes.
It's being purposely obtuse.
I do want to remind or state again that there was the moment where she opens her mind, Isla does to Aurora, and allows her to grab her hand and see into her memories and see that she actually did not kill anyone. Derek did all the dirty work, which we did reveal that a little earlier, but this was the moment in which it actually was revealed to the character.
Right.
Convenient.
Super convenient. But then, yes, of course, after that, we do see Ro kill Derek because, she told Mom, I'm going to do what I want to do. Trust me. Trust you? Look, girl, I've been keeping your ass alive all this time. Now I'm supposed to trust you. If you don't
you literally just exploded your friend's neck.
Right. We trust you.
Because you hard headed and don't listen.
A day ago.
Get off my lawn.
Get on.
I mean, honestly.
That's why I was thinking, like, immediately, get off my lawn. Because you're just a hard-headed teenager who want to do what you want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and I felt like maybe I was just being an old man again, getting cantankerous.
You were, but that doesn't make you wrong.
That's what I was about to say. I might say, well, that's how that goes, right? But you have more experience, so maybe you know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, the next thing that ends up happening is after she has Derek hit by the truck and he dies, all the facility doors open, and that shit don't make sense. And I know we just said it, and I'm saying it twice because I need to understand it, and it did make no more sense. I tried. That is when I was like, damn, they still setting this up for a sequel. All right, they crazy.
Well, I mean, that's the point where the doors to the Amistad were released.
Oh my gosh.
And all the prisoners were set free.
Like literally. God.
Give us free.
Because you're right.
We have the psionic to prison pipeline over here.
Right.
We got one more here from OneBridge11. He says, "Are you guys fans of Critical Drinker? If you are, you're okay by me. I am subscribed to Critical Drinker. Yeah,
same here.
I liked his interview. He just did a Russell Brand interview, which was kind of cool. Seeing him getting pretty big. I mean, FNT also, but yeah, Critical Drinker is dope. One day he'll see our show at some point. Probably not, but all of the psionics that are supposedly so dangerous they need to be kept in catatonic states have been released now. And assumedly the movie is telling us it's because they were misunderstood and they were being oppressed by the white man. And so now that they're liberated,
I'm just
they're
glad
going to go live
it.
lives of love, peace, and joy.
I think this is where I had a problem. I ain't gonna lie. I gotta say it. I actually had an issue with all the doors opening for 2 reasons, maybe 3. One, so again, we're saying that he's so strong that he had everybody's minds in a bind, and well, not too much because they were still able to get their thoughts out, but they were stuck in those dreams. And he was able to hold all those doors locked, and he was able to teleport during all of this, and he was able to jump inside of Isla's head and Aurora's head, I think, at one point. Aurora's head.
Yeah.
And
confusion.
Wait. And with all of that, he doesn't have like forethought. At least he didn't see that coming.
He did mention clairvoyance as a power, and
1000%.
And they never even brought that back up.
But he was capable of nearly everything else he named except astral
Right.
projection and clairvoyance.
Right.
How do you know?
Those are the only two things we didn't see him show. And we never knew her mom could astral project until she did.
That brings to the point. Just because he didn't display it, don't mean he couldn't do it.
Right. Because they tried to push this like, oh, everybody, oh yeah, that's what they tried to push. Oh, everybody doesn't have all the same powers and can't tap into the same abilities, but
Right.
the three people we looking at can literally do all of it.
Right. She's Nightcrawler. Yes.
She definitely was Nightcrawler.
You know?
Actually, he was more Nightcrawler, but he was Professor Nightcrawler.
Right. Professor Crawler.
Oh man, silly.
This movie was amazing.
It wasn't
Really,
that
really
terrible,
good.
if we're being honest, but it also was. I'll say that actually, and Nick and I do this the whole giving more to the substance than actually exists than Mike does,
Right.
but
Yep.
this actually allowed us to have fun with the components because of what they layered in front of us.
Mhm.
We had more to work with, so because of that, we were able to actually have a little more fun with putting it together. Like, no, we could actually make this movie way more complex. Like you guys did the simple version, let us help you do the hard version.
Send them emails out.
That's a
Be
step up
available.
for real, but that's legit a step up. That helps the rating on my end, so I'll just say that.
Yeah.
I love the ending.
Nah, the ending sucks, man. Like there's some decent ideas in the movie for sure. I'm not saying it's like all bad at all. I just feel I feel like it under scrutiny, it just kind of gets worse. So maybe we should stop talking about it because
I was just gonna say one last thing, and I was gonna stop talking anyway. Pick an ending. Don't give us all three.
It's very greedy.
A mirror of them.
Yeah. You want all three endings. Yeah.
No, they gave us all three. I want them to choose one.
Yeah.
They gave us the sequel ending. They gave us the drop off ending, and they gave us the oh shit, what's going on ending.
The twist ending. Yeah.
Yeah. Just give us one, or give us two and make them congruent. Because you could have made two of them match up, but all three of them leave us like, wait, what?
Yeah. So it also feels like, oh, that was really wrapped up very easily. Maybe you should have just allowed the daughter to go kill the guy in the first place, and it would have been all good.
Like you said, there was 4 minutes left. They had to figure something out. It's like, let's make this.
Yeah, let's just get rid of him. He's got to go.
Cutting room floor. Got to choose one of these final cuts. Which one you want?
Yeah. Put them on the dartboard and just throw.
Any other thoughts or plot points, tips, tricks?
Nah.
Oscar nominations.
For who?
This episode's almost as long as the movie. So
hey, that means we've been here way too long. But we do appreciate them for making this and giving us something to review. Yeah. With that being said, I went first on first takes. I don't want to go first on rating.
I'll go first. It's cool. I'm feeling like a 4 for this one. Maybe a 4 or 5. It's not bad. I think it's about middling. I really do feel like with a couple tweaks, it could have been punched up to maybe like a 6. Because I think there are good elements to the story. A lot, actually. I wish that it was a little bit more thought out. More developed. At this point, it feels like a lot of things were just sort of glossed over. Things were just taken for granted, and we didn't get really like a deep enough connection to the protagonist or the villain for us to feel any sort of catharsis at the end. So it all just wraps up a little bit too conveniently and makes you feel like, all right, well, what was the point of any of this? I think that they did okay with the special effects. They're nothing to write home about, but for a low budget movie, not bad. Some of the cinematography was decent. There was a moment when she was freaking out in the pool. They do a close up of her face and it's starting to flash blue. I thought that was a really good shot. There was some shaky cam at the beginning, which I was nauseous over, and I really wish people just stopped doing that. Put it on a tripod and just pan the camera. Let the actors run and just pan the camera as they run. You don't
Maybe
have to run with him.
I just want to say, I think part of the problem is these actors can't run.
Maybe that's it. That's quite possible. Sure. So yeah, there are some high points here. I do like the idea of this story. I think it's not bad at all. I just do think that it was kind of underdeveloped, and there were opportunities here that you could have really taken advantage of that would have made the movie that much better, and they weren't taken advantage of. So I have to give it about a 4. I think it's not terrible.
Wait.
It's not like you're not going to hate it, but
4 or 4 or 5?
A 4 or 5. I'm gonna do a 4 or 5.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I went with a solid 5 myself. Outside of the the usual tropes, overbearing parent, rebellious teenager. I get furious about those because it's always the same kind of thing. You watch some kid just rebel completely against an overprotective parent, and then they F around and find out.
Oh, they always do.
Right. And it's like, all right. And then the special effects were they were better. Like I said, they were better than The Flash because I don't know if you guys have seen any of the special effects in that. Just completely snacks. Just
No.
like 1998 smooth skin, no can't afford to put detailed wrinkles into the skin kind of special effects. It's pretty bad. This movie, at least, they had something of a budget for it without having to do 1,000 reshoots with the Mad Goose Wizard. And that's another comedy show, though. Anyway, I did like the ending, though. I like the fact that they took him out the way they did, just because plot. That's it. I just enjoyed that. It was kind of satisfying to see somebody go straight to the point and just end somebody with their abilities. Now, do I think that it was possible for him to get away? Absolutely. And it's almost a hole, but I still enjoyed it. It was satisfying for me.
We did
because he was kind of a weirdo.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying we did get our bad person doing something bad and not being remorseful about it.
We need to get back to villains just being villains for the sake of being villains.
Oh no, the anti-hero is the way to go.
No.
Anti-heroes, anti-villains,
aunts and uncles. Bring back villains for the sake of villainy. Just because.
We'll talk to Wario about that.
But that's my take. I give it a solid 5.
For sure. So I gave this a 4 or 5, the same as Nick, which I actually thought I would have had it a little higher than the rest of you. Honestly, I was thinking 5.5. This discussion actually made me drop it because I realized how much work Nick and I just did. I think Nick did more work than I did this episode on recreating this story to make it a little more jazzy. And I always take some points off quietly when we sit here and do that. I mean, I enjoy doing it, but I always realize like, oh wow, they left a lot open. Like, I don't know if I can give you credit for doing that. And for me also 4 or 5 is like a little higher than dead middle because 8 is my peak unless you make me cry, and then we can go past that.
True.
But yeah, with that being said, I give this a 4 or 5 as well. Ironically, though, and I can't say this for you guys, I can only say this for myself, I would watch this again. I would actually watch this again. I would watch it to see if I missed anything. I would watch it to see if I get anything new out of it. Not because I don't think I saw what I saw, and not because it was so great that it's like, oh man, I really got to see that again. But I'm still curious about what was going on and if there were some things we might have missed. Because the beginning was kind of snap by snap, and then after that it was beat by beat and nothing but foggy details in the middle. And that's kind of the thing. It was a lot of foggy details.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't watch it again more than likely, but I would watch the sequel.
I would definitely watch the sequel.
I would say that the sequel could be at like a 6 level. If I rated this one a 4.5, the sequel has a potentiality to be a 6 if they had gone down the route that I had, as we said before. Yeah.
Right.
I do think if there is a sequel to this, we wouldn't know it directly. We'd have to see it and then be like, "Oh snap! This is related to gray matter."
Well, only if they change the name completely, like
I think
sometimes they
they will.
do.
I think it would be great is if they let out all of the people and those people actually did up turning up dangerous, and then Ro has to go reform the institute
Well,
in order
why wouldn't they
in
turn
order
out
to get them
dangerous?
under control. Huh?
Why wouldn't they turn out dangerous? They've been potentially locked up for years.
Right.
messes
Psychologically
with you.
tortured and for years and years and years, you're gonna have
Right.
some problems.
And then Aurora has to volunteer to go and work for the government and hunt them all down.
Yep.
Right.
And that's when, at the end of the second movie,
Somebody teleports her into a truck.
Derek comes back.
Oh.
Well, no, at the end of the second movie, what we
They
find
out he teleported out of the way just in time, and
no,
then
we-
projected a corpse of himself.
we find out this is Mystique's origin story.
There you go.
Here you go.
You need Weapon and and Magneto. But yeah, with that being the case, this has been our review for the film Gray Matter. Go ahead and check that out on the HBO Max apps. I want to go ahead and say thanks a lot to OneBridge11 for checking us out, for tapping in.
Appreciate you.
Sure, you get a lot of suggestions from YouTube, and I'm almost guaranteed you don't click off them, but you clicked us, and we appreciate that.
Certainly not a stream that has like zero viewers. So thanks for stopping in and saying hi. We appreciate that.
Exactly.
For sure.
And, by all means, you see us pop up again, jump on in, say what's up. Tell a couple of friends, spread it around. And I suggest the rest of you do the same. Now, by all means, as we do all the time at this time, this is the time to go ahead and look at your screen. Go ahead and get that screenshot in if you haven't already gotten that down. Or if you're on any of the listening platforms, you can just hear me. And what we have on the screen is the list of this week's and every week's shows. We begin on Tuesday and we end on Sunday, and we give you Mondays off. Those shows are If Numbers Could Talk, Screen Time Continuum. You're here right now with that. We do that for 2 times a week. Strawberries and Coffee, and King_of_Ilion, Exofathom, and This Merry Moment. Go ahead and check all of those out on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Rumble, and I think that's all of our platforms at this moment, but we are definitely spreading out for you guys, getting to places that you might not have expected to catch us in. But as OneBridge11 found out today, no matter where you find us, we will be here giving you a review, some type of content, talking about it, laughing about it, clowning it, and or just, having it on the screen.
Yeah. And check us out maybe Saturday evening, but we might be doing a roaming episode that we're going to call Banter. There we just kind of fill in maybe once a week or once every other week and do something like we did last Saturday where we just talk and hang out. So check that, or be on the lookout for Saturday evenings until we decide a more permanent spot for it.
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
With that being said, we appreciate you guys for hanging out, checking us out, tuning in, and for the Screen Time Continuum, my name is Keelan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Mike.
We appreciate you guys, and don't forget to take care of yourself and your loved ones. Be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Like and subscribe.
Spay and neuter your pets.